Welcome to this next episode of YouTube where it is May 5th and it is Grizzer's birthday. Happy Cinco de Mayo and happy birthday to Grizzer, who is 10 years old today. When we picked up Grizzer, he reminded of us a little grizzly bear cub, and that name seemed to stick, and when the pup contest came around, Grizzer was the name that was selected. So when they first arrived at the exhibit, they were very good stimulus for Shadow and Malik. And you can see the stimulus of the prolactin hormone. They're licking and they're interested and they're salivating, and actually Shadow regurgitated several times when the pups were present, and that was later a trait that we didn't see until we saw the 2012 pups meet Aiden, and Aiden did that same regurgitation for the pups. So it didn't happen actually for the 2008 pups. Shadow didn't regurgitate for them as much as he did for the 2004 pups, which were Grizzer and Maya and Nisa. And the pups come at a very young age, at about 10 to 12 days of age, to make sure that we maintain the socialization within the neonate stage, and that means that we bottle feed. Grizzer was a great bottle feeder. He loved the bottle. He would fall asleep on the bottle. So one thing about the wolf pups is obviously the bottle is simulating the mother, and oftentimes pups will lay in the position and fall asleep while they're nursing, wake up and nurse, and then fall asleep again. So the bottle feeding portion of wolf pups is very, very critical. People need to have patience. People need to, make sure that that bottle is always available during this neonate stage, because even just an extra ounce is an important food resource for the young pups. So when they're young like this, we keep them warm. We hold them in the position that is similar to how a pup would be nursing on the mother to avoid aspirating. A lot of people try to hold them like a human infant, and that's not the case. So again, supporting their front legs, allowing them to knead against against your hand, and again having that nipple readily available, so as they wake up, they can take a couple of sips and then fall back asleep again. So it is a lot of patience, and Grizzer got the hang of it very quickly, and you can see he grew very quickly. So Grizzer and Maya were the true litter mates, and this is Maya on the left, Grizzer on the right. You can see the skeletal difference even at this age between a female and a male pup, and again Grizzer still maintains that fairly big head.
I didn't clean that up.
So they don't have the best hearing, and what happened is he got a little startled by something. He wasn't certain where it was coming from, and then kind of let out a little bit of a howl. But they do grow very quickly, and they're very, very easily entertained by each other. But Grizzer is unique. Grizzer likes to get into things, and so Grizzer oftentimes gets disciplined or got disciplined as a pup and brought back to where he needed to be. And we can only do so much as wolf care staff. The discipline really starts with the adult wolves that they're going to join. So here Shadow and Malik are showing the pups their rank order, rolling them over, giving them a four-leg stab, doing a inhibited muzzle bite, and again, Malik's doing more sniffing than dominating. Shadow, being the dominant pack member, definitely took the lead in showing the pups where their rank was, and you can see here that pups understood. Roll right over. Grizzer is also unique. He is the only pup that we've had who loved to swim, and so that's a big part of his habitat now. In the recent upgrades that we did, we tried to get him a pond so that he could still continue to swim. And also we need to recognize that when Grizzer was young, he's just as obnoxious as Boltz is. Grizzer did have two significant tests of Shadow when Grizzer was about 2 years of age, but Shadow put him in his place, and Grizzer maintained himself in the exhibit pack as a lower-ranking wolf. Doesn't mean that he was immune from trouble. Grizzer had a tendency as a lower-ranking or second-ranking wolf to Shadow, picking on Malik quite a bit, and Grizzer was the reason why Malik was placed in retirement in 2009. So as we talk about Grizzer now as a 10-year-old adult, and whether we want to transition Shadow in with Grizzer, we got to recognize that as 10, Grizzer's still a very strong, very formidable, and even though Shadow probably still maintains rank over him, that's a lot of physical energy for Shadow to maintain that rank. So we got a lot of thinking to do to make sure what's best for Grizzer, as well as make sure what's best for Shadow. So those discussions obviously are ongoing with the Wolf Care staff to try to figure out how we maintain them. But again, Grizzer is 10 years old today, and we are thankful for the opportunities that he has given us. And the rest of the pack is doing quite well. Our snowbank is diminishing. This is all that's left of it, is maybe a 10 or 15 foot area patch. And it's getting warm, and the wolves have their full winter coat. So a warm day is about maybe 40 or 50 degrees when you've got a full winter coat on. So they're going to find places to cool off. And that means some digging. And Luna, of course, takes advantage of the opportunity of Aiden to dig himself a nice hole, and she's going to come over and try to take it from him. He is certainly dominant over Luna, but he definitely just kind of lets Luna do as she wishes. So, like I said, the remaining snow is one of those things that is going to dissipate. Once we get rid of the snow, we'll rake up the straw. We're going to do a little bit of seeding in the enclosure. The Working for Wolves crew comes in 2 weekends, so we have a lot to do. We hopefully will have this snowbank gone by then so that we can move forward and getting the pond up and running. When temperatures do get warm into the 60s, 70s, and 80s, the wolves definitely need a place to cool off, and so we need to get the pond back up and running. Right now the ground is still frozen, so the drain is not functioning, but we are hopeful that warmer days are ahead. Of course, we did have snow a couple of days ago, but it is May, and it is May 5th, and so we hope that things progress into the summer season. Other than that, we see Aiden and Denali having less focused dominance on Denali. That was a seasonal thing, certainly stimulated probably by Luna, who caused a little bit of anxiety for Aiden and then possibly redirected towards Denali, but things calmed down quite a bit here in the summer. Denali kind of takes it in stride. As long as Denali gets his food resources, he doesn't seem to have too much confrontational issues with the other wolves. He rolls over, he shows subordinate behavior, the wolves get distracted and they kind of move on. So that's how things roll with Aiden and Denali. Now the question is, Bolts fits in there because Aiden doesn't show much dominance to Bolts, so Bolts right now is kind of higher ranking than Denali. So over in retirement, we did zoom the camera